Music, like most things in the world, is full of tension and release. Most of the time, music theorists talk about this tension and release in terms of harmony. But there's also a lot you can do with tension and release outside of harmony and just in the rhythm and meter of a piece of music. Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a music theorist whose main goal is to teach music theory as a practice of empathy. So let's talk about metric dissonance, specifically displacement dissonance. This is the long-awaited part 2 to the video I did on grouping dissonance a few weeks ago. Quick recap, within theories of metric dissonance, we can think of music as having different interpretive layers to them. These layers refer to different instruments or different voices that just happen in their own separate meters, and then we can stack them in music to make the music sound more complex. With grouping dissonances, this meant that our different interpretive layers happened in different meters that didn't line up. But displacement dissonances can actually use metrical layers that are the same exact meter. So let's just go with 3/4. With the name displacement, you might have already guessed that our metrical layers aren't going to line up, but not in the same way that grouping dissonances didn't line up. For grouping dissonances, they didn't line up just because the meters weren't the same size, but with displacement dissonances, we can take meters of the same size, so like if I had 3 and 3, and just displace them where the meter begins on like the second beat of the first layer. So let's zoom into this example. So I'm going to treat each of these instruments as its own metrical layer. I'll start with the piano because it's actually lining up with the bar line. So we're in 3/4 now, and we've just got these dotted half notes. So they're each 1 bar long. So we've just got 3 beats, 3 beats. And it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now you've got that in your head. First violin here is also its own metric layer, but you can see that it's not lining up the bar line anymore. So if I start this here, solo it so that it's the only thing you can hear, just this part, then you're going to pick up on 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as well in this. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've got one other layer down here, which is going to be our second violin, and we'll do the same thing and solo it as well. You can see that this first violin had its metric layer come in on the second beat of the bar. So we're just going to use the bar as reference here because it can get really confusing if you don't have a reference point. Our third metric layer down here is going to come in on the third beat of the bar. So same thing, I'll let you listen. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When we combine them all together, and I did them all as 3 beats long, just doing nothing, just so it'll be easier for you to hear the different layers. Here's what they sound like together. Something like that. We could spend a long time talking about how to establish a meter, then line it up in different ways, but what you can do is then mix up the rhythms a little bit more so that it's more interesting. And here's what they sound like. So we've got kind of a waltz vibe going on. That is a very brief introduction to metric dissonance. Ask some questions in the comments. I'd love to go deeper into it.